Coming and the goings of the airplanes up here after the captain has gotten us 30 miles an hour of wind down the deck. I talked to some people here about the wind down the deck. Let's say Mother Nature's blowing at 10 miles an hour this way, and we're going to Europe. The captain's, and we want to do some flying. The captain's going to turn the ship around. How fast does he have to go to get 30 miles an hour wind?
40. 20.
20 is correct. Mother Nature has 10, and just as going through the wind, we're going to make another 20 going the opposite direction of the ship. And so we have the wind down the deck. At that point, the captain is going to say to this guy, you can start flight operations. So we land on the angle deck, and we take off up forward here on catapults. We're doing a rolling takeoff. Now, here's a picture of kind of what I was telling you down below down there. This is from the day when I flew off the carriers, in the way the carriers were originally built, as a straight deck carrier. So here you can see the 12 wires and the fences here. We had a fence made of cables to stop airplanes with propellers. If this webbing was put up, the netting of nylon ribbons, and it was going to stop a propeller plane, the propellers would just chew through the ribbons. So we stopped them with this cable to upset the airplane by snagging his landing gear and upsetting him upside down so he doesn't smash into the planes up front. And we had too many airplanes into these fences, and so we came up with the idea, the British did, with this angled landing area. And so it encompassed this elevator and back to the ship here. So this is the way we looked in the early 50s and when the ship was originally built. Okay. Out between the first two circles are three faint black lines. And in the second circle, on this end of it, is another faint black line. You might see four faint black lines going from those four gray, roundy humps down the red and white line, and there's a companion one over by the fence. Between those humps, we're going to stretch the arresting cables, 1.5-inch diameter cables, 4 of them, and they are controlled by shock absorbers under the flight deck. And this is for cable number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. This is a spare. And this is for cable number 6, which is really a barricade that we can put up if a plane is coming back without a tail hook. Let's say a guy's coming back with a tail hook. This is what he's going to see. He's going to see a curtain of ribbons put up. Here are the 4 wires, and he's going to come down, and the ribbons are going to wrap around the wings and pull him to a stop. This is the shock absorber controlling the arresting of this landing. These shock absorbers allow us to stop a guy in about 200 feet. They're going to pick up one of those wires and come to a stop down here where this circle is outside the window. The ship is 900 feet long, almost 900 feet, and we're going to stop them in about 1/4 the length of the ship. Once they stop, we'll taxi them up here and park. And the next guy will come in, and we'll do that about every 20 seconds. Now in the far right corner, there's some pipes that are sticking out outside the fence. That's where the landing signal officer stands. In this picture, he was right here in the end. So he is talking to the pilots by the use of paddles. And he's going to tell the pilots whether they are okay, like this one, or whether he's slightly high, or real high, or too fast, too slow, or left or right, or his hook's not down, or the wheels aren't down. He's going to talk to the pilots by paddles. And in fact, we called him Paddles. Today, they don't use this anymore, and we communicate to the pilots by radio. But these guys are still standing in the same position at the LSO platform, back in the far right corner. Okay. Any questions on landings? We do that about every 20 seconds if the pilots are coordinated and they got good intervals. Okay, let's talk about takeoffs. Remember, we still have our 30 miles an hour wind down the deck, so we have 2 catapults here. All jets today are catapulted because they can't get flying fast enough within the length of the ship. Plus, it would use up the whole length of the ship, and we have really airplanes parked all around the place. So we are going to be more efficient by slingshotting the airplanes off with catapults. We have 2 on this ship. They are about 200 feet long, and airplanes are going to be fired down there in 2 seconds, at which time they will go from a standing start to enough airspeed to fly away from the ship. So it's like 1001, 1002, and the plane is gone. If he takes off from the right catapult, he's going to turn right as soon as he can. If he takes off on the left catapult, he's going to turn left, because you don't want to fall in the water in front of the ship where it's going to run over you. So you want to get away from this big behemoth coming up behind you when you get taken off. Okay, if you have an airplane with propellers, you're going to use this white line that has circles on it, and it has an arrow point on this side of the tube